Okay, guys, let's look at this last question. This last question is a multi-part question, okay? This is the type of question it is, which means that it's a possibility that if you get one part wrong, you could possibly get the whole thing wrong. Now, depending on who's administering your test or who your teacher is, they may not take all the points away. They may give you some credit, but I just want to give you guys the worst case scenario. Okay, so let's dive into this question. They say use the drawings below to answer the questions that follow. Part A, what is the scale factor going from the smaller rectangle to the larger one? So this ratio right here is very imperative. It's important to know because this means that it wants us to find the scale factor going from the smallest rectangle to the larger one. And basically what that means is that the smaller one would be the original. So I want you guys to ask yourself, well, if it's getting bigger, will my scale factor be more than 1 or less than 1? If you guess more than 1, you are absolutely correct. So I'm looking for the scale factor, which I can highlight because I'm looking for the scale factor. And I'm not sure if you guys remember this formula, but in one lesson, I wrote down that to find the scale factor, it is the scales copies measurements divided by the original figure measurements. Okay, so I'm going to look at my figure. What side did they give me for my original? The only side that I see is this side that says 3 units right here, okay? So I want to find the side that corresponds with my original side in the scale copy, which would be this side, 13.5. Okay, so I want to divide 13.5 divided by 3. Make sure I put my decimal at the top. So how many times can 3 go into 13 without going over? If you guess 4, you are absolutely correct. Then I'm going to drop my 1, have my 5. How many times can 3 go into 15? 3 could go into 15 5 times. I have nothing left over, so that's my scale factor. Now, there is a way for me to check my scale factor. I can multiply the scale factor times, what do you think? What number? If you guess 3, you're absolutely correct. And it should give me 13.5. So 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 1 would be 13. Since they have one number behind in this numeric value, it's going to be 13. And let me write my 3 a little bit neater so it don't look like a 6. It's going to be 13.5, okay? Which means that my scale factor is absolutely correct. Now for the next question, it's asking us, what is the missing side of the smaller rectangle? Well, when I move from this way, I have to divide. So, well, not divide, multiply the scale factor. So what do you think what happens if I go this way? If I'm trying to figure out this side, what operation you think I have to use? If you guess division, you are absolutely correct. So with this part, I'm going to actually divide 9 divided by the scale factor, which I don't like writing my division problems like this. I'm going to put it like I did the first problem, which would be 9 divided by 4.5. Now, I know we didn't cover dividing decimals just yet, but whenever we're dividing decimal, you put a decimal inside, and then you move it to the right, And then now I have 45, 90 divided by 45. 90 divided by 45 is 2. Okay? And therefore, the missing side should be 2. To check my answer, I can multiply my scale factor times 2 and see if it gives me 9. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. And yes, it does give me 9. So my actual answer is 2. Okay? 2 centimeters. Now for the last question, it's asking me to find the area of the smaller rectangle. Now, true, you were taught that to find the area of a rectangle, you use length times width, but since we learned about parallelograms, I'm going to do base times height. So the base would be actually 3, the height would be times 2, and the area should be 6. Well, guys, I know this review was pretty simple, but in my opinion, I think the test is pretty simple. But if you have any questions about this assessment or any questions about this lesson or review, always go to your manager's Google Meet. You could go revisit your old lessons to look at videos and so on. So I'm just going to wish you guys well on your test, and don't stress, you got this.